China issue. You know, China and Indo-Pacific is becoming a big issue. China's endorsement of a Southeast Asia nuclear free zone. So, let me repeat the word Southeast Asia nuclear free zone, but China itself a nuclear nation, atomic nation. Do you see this genuine diplomacy or a strategic maneuver amid US-China competition in the Indo-Pacific? I want to do this question directly to you, Panthu sir.
Thank you, Mr. Kanchan. It will take me quite some time if I take on all the topics related to China. However, one of those topics, as you mentioned, is their corridor Southeast Asia to have a nuclear free zone. Of course, Australian PM is now in China meeting the Chinese Premier Li Qiang and also President Xi Jinping as well. And the purpose of this visit by Australia was to revive and expand economic ties, trade and tourism. And they signed MOU, Memorandum of Understanding between Tourism Australia and China's Trip.com. So this Australia understands the potential China has over Asia and of course Southeast Asia as well. And of course China is now seen to be a new global power in comparison with the US. Of course, I also mentioned AUKUS to you before, which is a trilateral security partnership between Australia, UK and the United States, and it's intended to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific that's secure and stable. Of course, we see the two sides trying to beef it out between them. We know that China has military advancements even out in the South China Sea, in the Spratly Islands. They have developed those places to be military infrastructure belonging to the People's Liberation Navy as well, the PLN effectively. So one must understand that China wants a world where openness and trade is booming and not testing of weapons, and dependency on weapons is not the issue of the hour as well.
Sir, imbalanced politics also started from Washington. I can give you one example. President Donald Trump in Hague on 24th June says 5% GDP from the NATO members or European members has to pay. Now, what happens? He is again going to put the tariffs on the European allies also. News says with NATO's new goal of 5% GDP military spending and the EU's struggle to counter US tariffs, is Europe facing a strategic identity crisis, Mr. Norman? How might Europe respond to Donald Trump if Donald Trump returns to power with an even more unrealistic approach to NATO and global security? Sir, I want to do this question you first.
Thank you, Mr. Kanchan. Well, first of all, the allies weren't spared. You look at South Korea and Japan, even they had to be facing the burden of this tariff war. But remotely speaking, we were talking about China. So, in any country who has benefited, whether monetarily or has any kind of strengthening strategic developments with China, America does take notice. And you see earlier this week, we've seen Donald Trump imposing tariff to various Asian nations, but no news agency has still reported anything in terms with China. So, definitely other Asian countries will definitely be impacted. But as per your question, we looked at the European Union nations as well. If you look at the euro, it's a currency that is shared amongst a wide range of countries in the European bloc. And they know that Donald Trump is an ally for the European countries, and they are definitely concerned in what kind of tariff game is playing, America is playing with them. But even if you look at Latin America, Brazil is a member of the BRICS, and definitely this time they hosted the BRICS leaders as well. Donald Trump didn't see this as an advantage, or didn't take any advantage of this, as he supports Jair Bolsonaro, the opposition of the current government there. And he had blatantly said, we will slam Brazil with 50% tariff. And this is how domestic destabilization may take place in the upcoming days as well. And of course, European leadership is definitely taking note.
Sir, one short question for you, and I have a very short time. Don't you think Donald Trump, a very hot-minded person, is volatile? He is doing volatile situation in war situation, I mean war diplomacy as well as trade diplomacy. Do you think it? Do you feel it?
He's trying to pull every country by the strings, and what he's doing is it's creating strategic alliances between that entire group of countries that he's bullying, whether it be with weapons, whether it be with trade, and whether anything else they're trying to pull off. But if you look at the rhetoric over the last 6 months, America is facing a lot of reputational crisis due to Donald Trump's such practices as well.